Hi, Kalpun Piso here. I'm going to talk about the brain and the Pope and pedophilia. Does the Pope have a brain? There's no God. We create God with our brain. Here, memories, all of that, all product of evolution. Circuitry, neurons, axons, and synapses. Here.
Of being a human. We all fall in love. We all get our hearts broken. We all climb a tree outside our beloved's window at midnight in medieval robes to serenade them with a lute.
But see, even he fails to say we are evolved, mutated primates. He doesn't even say it.
Helps or sprays us with a hose. And in acting out these universal human habits, we all build up memories, some of which are painful, some of which we wish we could forget. Well, maybe soon you can. Because research out of SUNY Downstate Medical Center in Brooklyn, New York, has shed incredible new light on the nature of memory. What the scientists did, they got some lab rats, as scientists are wont to do, they put the rats in a chamber, and whenever the rats wandered into a certain area of the chamber, they got an electric shock. So avoided that part of the chamber. But then the researchers grabbed a new drug called zeta inhibitory peptide, or ZIP. They injected it directly into the little critters' brains, and what do you know? The rats instantly forgot what they'd learned.
Brains, just like us. Ours are much better. We have cognition. We're crazy apes. But we can take the same chemicals and put it in the brain. You forget about God. No God or operate your brain. So God doesn't exist.
We're back to running into the shock zone all over again. Why are these results so important to our understanding of how memory works? And can they help me forget being dumped by Lisa Rattenmeyer in 8th grade? Answer these questions and more. Joining me via Skype from Washington, D.C. is Andre Fenton. He's one of the neuroscientists who worked on this amazing research. Andre, my understanding of memory was that it's dispersed across the brain in a complex kind of web of neurons, and it's very hard to pin down. Can you bring us up to speed about what we currently know about how our brains generate and store memories?
We create, and we have all the memories and everything. We create gods and the mind with the brain. And here is proof. This scientist is going to explain it. But the fact is that we create the mind with the brain.
Neurons communicate across a space, a gap, if you will, we call a synapse. And the important thing that we realized sometime around the 1970s is that indeed the communication across those synapses could change. They could become stronger or they could become weaker. And in the pattern of changes within the synapses of a set of neurons, you could store information.
So that's what memory is. Memory is not as specifically neurons, it's about these communication networks between neurons. What did you do in this research that was so important?
So what we did was we were able to demonstrate that we understood, in fact, what the molecular mechanism for storing that information, if you will. It's called protein kinase M-zeta.
And the brain of these people is stacked in the Middle Ages, like the Pope and molesting children and all that, which is common in ancient times. They have that protein in the brain. They're creating all the thoughts which are completely retarded or theotarded with the brains,
it's
nothing
a protein,
else.
And that protein is able to cause a chemical reaction with other proteins. And in particular, what happens is that protein is able to activate through its chemistry other similar proteins to it, and they form clusters, if you will.
What have you done that influences that with this drug ZIP?
In essence, what it does is it breaks up the crowd or cluster of pKm-zeta so it starts to dissipate and go away from the synapses at which it is clustered to store the information.
So the memory is kind of forming physically in the brain. This drug breaks up those neurons and those relationships that constitute the memory. Is there a way of targeting a specific memory? Is it all memory? Is it long-term memory? I don't understand how. Is there any specificity here at all?
So the specificity is in that it's long-term memories. However, there is no specificity, at least at this time, in terms of which memories. What we would do is break up all the long-term information storage.
What are the ultimate human applications for this? I mean, where might this take us?
Well, the first thing to realize is this is the first step, or an important first step, in understanding the molecular underpinnings of memory.
And remember, the brain can create or omit memories. Some are called false memories. When the kids say, oh yeah, my mother molested me and all that, and it never happened. And so memories can be, you have to be very careful because they'll be created or omitted. Especially the bad ones are omitted. And of course, we're having this technical information here, but the fact is that people that believe in God are stuck in the Middle Ages because we carry everything with the brain. And we are evolved mutated primates, born atheists, born lacking belief. And the problem with it, we don't need people that they are sick. Their brains are sick, like all the religious people are sick. They have a problem, like a schizophrenia. And this was happening in the church, molesting deaf kids and children and all that. It's disgusting. But this is the reason. Religious is a mental illness not needed in this 21st century. And you know, the people to blame are the parents that send those children to this fairy tale institution, this retarded people stuck in the Middle Ages to believe all that crap. It's like a you know, a parent sending their children to a beautiful garden full of snakes. And then if children got bitten by a snake, then you're going to blame the snake? No, the parent. They should be put in jail.
Memories are actually organized in those complex networks, whether there happens to be a physical signal that can identify a single memory. Then we can start talking about applications. For example, people with post-traumatic stress disorder, they suffer from very painful memories, not just unpleasant memories, but debilitating memories. They would obviously like to have those memories attenuated or removed if at all possible.
There is no God. We create God with the brain. With all those memories, learning music and all that, I cannot transfer because I have a healthy brain and I'm an atheist. I can actually put all that music, all those memories in my keyboard.
Stored, we might be well on our way to designing novel kinds of therapies to influence those mechanisms.
It's amazing stuff. Your research has given us a huge amount of new insight into the way memory works, so thanks a lot for doing it. Thanks a lot for your time.
Our genes and culture make us what we are. And if you're infected with religious psychosis and you're young, no matter what phase you have, it can be devastating. If you're a Christophrenic, you can become it's Muslim-phrenic.
Telling
Muslim-phrenic.
America is evil and delivering this provocative message to Muslim Americans.
Yeah.
To the Muslims,
Christ-psychosis.
Allow you to live in peaceful coexistence with a nation that is responsible for.
We don't need religion in this 21st century. It's psychosis. It's like a schizophrenia.
How can you have your
we have to eliminate all of it
with government
by curing these people. This man was
against...
infected, was brought up into Christophrenia. And of course, the moment you believe in one fairy tale, you believe in other fairy tales. So of course, all of a sudden he realized, oh, wait a minute, Allah is the real God. It's like Winnie the Pooh. So therefore, there we go. There we go. Religious is a mental illness, a very dangerous psychosis. Nobody seems to see. Nobody seems to see.
Never give up.
Yeah, they're abusing their mute kids. You want to help children? Well, the best way to help them is having sex education classes and also put them in institutions that are mentally healthy, atheist institution, locking all these bullshit fairy tales of the Middle Ages. That's the danger. You know, teach the Bible like you teach, you know, any other mythology, like Greek or Roman mythology. That will help them a lot. Fairy tale stories. Here, that should contain the Bible story, it doesn't contain it, and the Bible is a myth. All of these are fairy tales created by the human brain. There are as many religious fairy tales that the brain can create. Deal with it. It's all a creation of the brain. And when you believe all these fairy tales to be true, you have a neurological problem, not unlike a schizophrenia.
System and weaponry, even those who appear to be misguided can be extraordinarily dangerous, and that's what I do in my lectures for law enforcement.
Okay, he says the tough part. Tom, last question, if you can close it.
America has to be disinfected from a cancer it doesn't seem to see. Believing God, the neurological disorder of Christianity, and other religions. In pace Diorum.